Hello, I'm Phil Svitek, 360 Creative Coach, and in this episode, I want to teach you about SMART goal setting. Now, SMART is an acronym, right? And this is a method that I recently came across, but it resonated with me and think it's applicable to many people, right? So if you haven't heard of it, here's what the acronym stands for. S for specific, M for measurable, A for attainable, R for relevant, and T for time bound, okay? So those are the 5 things to consider when you are setting goals, right? So let's start with specific. Define your goal. Be specific, be clear, right? If your goal is kind of very open-ended and nebulous, it's going to be a hard time achieving it, right? Like if you say, I want to make more money. And people often will say that. Okay, it might sound noble in that way, but it's like, okay, well, if I just literally give you $1, then you've made more money, right? It's certainly not what really is in your heart. So, okay, you want to make more money. How much more money? In 1 year, I was like, okay, my goal is to make $5,000 in extra income. And okay, that was a very specific goal. And then I could measure myself in that way, whether or not I did. And I did. That was the beautiful part about it. And in fact, that's, so M, right? So the second letter of the acronym, measurable. You know, by having a clear, specific goal, you can measure your success. And not only that, within that, you want to be able to sort of track your progress. How can you measure it? So for me, okay, if my goal is to make $5,000 extra side income for the year, then it's like, okay, how much per month do I need to be aiming for? And so I can gauge whether or not I'm on track or not, right? Attainable. Make it realistic. For me, that seemed like a decent number that was attainable. Like it was a good number where it was significant in terms of what I wanted to achieve, but at the same time, something that I knew if I worked hard at it, could be accomplished. And it was. So S for specific, M for measurable, and A for attainable, right? Next one, relevant. Ensure that it aligns with what you actually want, right? So for me, one of the reasons I wanted to make that side money was because I wanted to use that finance, that extra income to go create my first movie. So it was relevant to my overall goals of what was meaningful to me, right? And then time bound. Assign a date and to keep yourself accountable. So for me, it was a span of 1 year. And as I said, I broke it down into, months, each month so I can measure progress. But yeah, within that year, I could see and be like, okay, that's it. So those, and for you, listen, that could also be a matter of weeks, months, whatever. But when you have a deadline in mind, it kind of lights a fire under your ass, because in the end, Parkinson's law dictates the time to completion is relative to how much time you have. So if you give yourself 2 months, it'll take you 2 months. You give yourself 2 weeks, it'll take you 2 weeks. It's very fascinating. Look it up. In fact, I do a whole lesson on that. It's one of the very, very first lessons at this point that I've ever done. But yeah, that's the SMART acronym for goal setting. Hope that helps you. Let me know the thoughts and more, even beyond that, let me know how it does work out for you in the comments section or hit me up on social media at Phil Svitek. Thank you so much. I appreciate you and hope to see you next time.